Feeling jealous is an extremely powerful emotion and one that I think is massively misconstrued. So in this video, I'm going to explain my journey with jealousy to hopefully help you if you're feeling jealous or feeling overwhelmed right now. So hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been an OG and been following me for a while, thank you so much for all of your support to help me make these videos for you every single week. So I want to dive right deep into jealousy, and the first thing I want to do is actually explain the definition of jealousy and why I actually think it's incorrect. The word jealousy actually has so many negative connotations, and I'm going to put up the Cambridge Dictionary definition, which says that jealousy is a feeling of unhappiness and anger because someone has something or someone that you want. Now, I actually think this definition is really great because I think we naturally associate jealousy to resentment, bitterness, anger. And actually, it's really not that. It really just is an indicator of something that you want that someone else has. Now, this is a really simplified definition of jealousy, and I think that naturally we've been taught that the word jealousy is a really negative thing. Now, I think this definition is really great because I don't necessarily think you need to feel all of those emotions if you're feeling jealous in any situation. But in order to get to that place where you don't feel the bitterness, the resentment, the overwhelming feeling of fear, you really need to understand what jealousy means for you and how you can use it to actually empower you to do the things that you actually want. Now think about it. Have you ever felt jealous over someone or something that you don't care about? Now for me, I don't really feel jealous when someone buys a new car. I don't feel jealous when they have a lovely wedding. And I personally never feel jealous when someone's cooking amazing food. I mean, obviously I'm jealous I don't get to eat it, but I'm never jealous of the skill. I'm never jealous of things that I absolutely don't want. As much as I love going to other people's weddings, I never ever sit there and think this is what I want, and I'm so jealous that, you know, I haven't got there yet or that I don't want it, because I genuinely don't. But let me be quite frank, I'm absolutely so jealous of other things, and I have been in my life, and I'm not afraid to say that. I'm jealous when I see other people hitting amazing numbers on their podcast. I'm jealous when I see certain podcasters get the guest of my dreams. But I don't feel bitterness towards them. I actually have learned how to feel proud and appreciate them and really understand how hard they work to get there, which has only motivated me and driven me even more to reach that goal too. We all see jealousy as a negative trait because we see it as hatred, but actually jealousy is just desire. It's literally highlighting the things that you really want. So if you use it as a guiding light, if you use it as a kind of a trigger that tells you, okay, I really care about this, I really want this, it can be a really powerful tool and can really help you actually to be really self-aware. The fact is, jealousy really just gets you to pay attention to the thing that you really want. And what I've learned to do now is really acknowledge that. So when I'm jealous about something, I'm like, I'm really jealous about that. Why are you jealous about that? Okay, because I want it. Okay, so how are you going to get it? And now I use it as an emotion that really excites me, because if I'm jealous about something, it means I want it. And if I want it, that means I need to find a path and a way to get it. So I use it as a challenge to myself to think, okay, how can I achieve that? And what it really does is it doesn't tell you things that other people tell you that you should be jealous about. It doesn't tell you about other people's desires. The best thing about jealousy is only you know when you feel it. And so what you can do is harness that power to know that this is something that you actually want. And I think that's the best way to self-reflect and the best guide for you to really go after the things that you want, rather than listening to the outside noise of thinking about what other people want. I know for me, when I was studying law, I didn't necessarily look at lawyers and think, oh my God, I'm so jealous of them. I didn't necessarily look at people who were in my field and think, oh my God, I want to be you. And I actually realized that quite early on, to think, if I'm not really inspired by you, if I don't want to be where you are in 10 years time, why am I in this position? And that's actually why I chose to not do law, because I never ever felt that I knew any lawyers that I was deeply inspired by. I was never jealous of any. And then I realized, actually, this is not what I want to do. Now, I just want to say something. I know I'm talking about jealousy as this powerful tool. I know I'm talking about it as something you should be excited about because I've reframed my perspective. But don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable to admit that you're jealous about certain things. I've been in this position before where I don't necessarily want to admit that I'm really jealous about something, and therefore I hide it, I push it back. And I think there's a big problem in doing this. First of all, you don't need to go and tell the whole world that you're jealous about something, right? You just need to admit it to yourself. But a lot of the time, so many of us don't spend time in solitude, and so we don't really get that reflection time and that time to really think about what's really triggering us. often when we feel triggered or we feel annoyed, or we feel agitated or we feel frustrated, we don't really dive deep into understanding why that could be. And sometimes the cause of that is jealousy. So what I want to do is actually talk about a really silly example. So I'm going to bring up an example of in school when I'd be jealous about another girl because of the way that she looks, because of the things that she was getting, because of, I don't know, the good grades that she had in life and I never absolutely had them. I'm not talking about a specific example, but what I'm trying to explain is there are things in life that you're just going to be triggered by a little bit. You are just going to feel a little bit jealous about something silly, and you probably feel a little bit, you know, I don't want to say this out loud. I don't want to tell anyone. And I also don't want to admit it to myself. So I'm just going to hide it away. And that is the worst thing that you can do. Because often when you actually break down why you're jealous of something or someone, you'll realize that it's actually not a big deal. You'll realize that actually there's something that you need to work on within yourself. And that's where I think the personal responsibility really comes in. So let me just give you an example. Let's say I'm really jealous of a girl because she has a big bum. You know, I've spoken openly on my platform that I have a very skinny body. I have no curves, no boobs, no bum. And I'm actually okay with it, if I'm completely honest. But there was a time where I remember someone sent me a photo of me and was like, oh my God, look at your bum. It's literally a pancake, and it absolutely is. I'd get up right now and show you, but it's not going to fit into the frame. But I've now become a lot more comfortable with that. So if somebody told me that right now, I'd be like, yeah, it is, and I'm going to own it. But let's say I'm going to rewind to when I'm in school, or rewind to a time where I hadn't really done that inner work, and I would look at someone and be like, oh my God, I'm so jealous that she's got a really big bum. Now, there's a multitude of reasons as to why I would give it to my, like, why I would convince myself that I'm not going to take the personal responsibility. So I may say she's naturally got it. Okay, she got BBL. She's had plastic surgery done. She goes to the gym 5 times a week. And I can't afford to do any of those things. I don't have time to go to the gym 5 times a week. I don't have time to get a personal trainer. I can't afford to get surgery. And it's just really, and let's say it was natural, I would just be like, oh, well, you know, she's got it naturally. So it's just ridiculous. And it's just so unfair. And I'm just really jealous. And I find it really annoying. Now, when I break that down into 2 things, the first thing is I have a deep insecurity about it, right? And I'm feeling really insecure, and therefore I'm listing all of these reasons and not focusing on the things that I can control. I'm focusing on all the things I can't control, so I don't have to take the personal responsibility for it. Now, when I start looking at it like that, and I start thinking, okay, well, what can I control? Okay, well, I can go to the gym 5 times a week and follow a free YouTube guide on how to get a big booty. Then actually that puts responsibility back on me, and it empowers me to think, okay, well, I can maybe do something about this. The other thing is what I've listed there is something that I'm just probably never going to have, right? We look at ourselves and think, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. But there's people that are looking at you that are thinking, wow, she has that, or wow, he's got that, and I wish I could have that. And when you're confident within yourself, when you have that self-belief, when you know your strengths, you'll understand that you can't have every single strength in the world. We can't be every single thing that we want to be. And we can't have the best of everything. And often I think we look at ourselves and think we don't have anything. And that's where that kind of gratitude journaling comes in, and really knowing yourself and knowing your strengths. Because when you're confident within yourself, like, look, okay, I don't have a big bum, but I quite like my legs because they're long and skinny. And I quite like that about myself. So yeah, I don't have a big bum, but I quite like my skinny legs. And for me, I've come to terms to loving that about myself. And that's why now I'm not really offended if someone says that about my bum. I'm like, yeah, I know, I own it. But ages ago, I did used to be a little bit insecure about it. And no matter how many times I go to the gym, I mean, I'm really not that consistent with my squats. I don't enjoy doing them. I'm sure if I got a personal trainer, I could probably get some sort of bum. But no pun intended, I feel that if we constantly focus on what we don't have, if we constantly focus on the things that we cannot control, we're going to be unhappy and we're going to be jealous. And I think here is like, we don't need to keep up with the latest trends. You know, we don't need to keep up with what everyone else is doing. Being comfortable within yourself and knowing what you love and knowing what your body can push itself to, for example, in this body example, is really important. For me, I know I'm never going to get plastic surgery on my bum. I don't care about it enough. I don't feel the need to do that and feel deeply insecure about it. But I've learned to love it. And I think this is just one example of the things that often it's very easy to look at someone else and think of all the reasons as to why you absolutely can't do that. But there is a way. And I think looking at the things that you can control when you feel jealous is so, so important for you to take action to actually achieve the same thing. Now, one thing I do want to say, when you're feeling jealous, I think it's really important to break down exactly why you're feeling jealous. I know that's really uncomfortable, and one of the things that has really helped me is just to write, either on a notepad or either on my laptop, so I can just quickly delete it instead of having to rip it up. But I basically write out all of my emotions. I pretend I'm talking to a therapist. I pretend that there's absolutely no one that's ever going to read it, and I write down all my emotions. I'm feeling jealous because of this. And one of the techniques that I've used so many times is the 5 why method. Now, I learned this in my consulting days, and the basic premise of it is to just ask yourself why 5 times. So let's just start with the body example. I feel jealous of her body because I had it. Okay, why? Because I'd feel more confident. Okay, why? Because I think that other people would compliment me more. Okay, why is that important to you? Because I actually feel really insecure that loads of people don't compliment me and they compliment my friends. Okay, why? Because I sometimes do seek validation from other people. Okay, why? Because I don't necessarily feel confident in myself, so I like to hear it from other people. Now, you can keep asking yourself why, and generally the root cause, I feel like, always lies with you. When you're jealous about something, it's usually because you deeply, deeply want it. And sometimes when you go really underneath that, and I know that's happened to me, I've realized it's because I have an insecurity about it, because I don't love myself enough, and therefore I need other people's validation. I need other people's opinions. I need other people to confirm this thing or whatever it is, because I haven't really come to terms with it myself. Now, this method is called the 5 whys, but sometimes it can go on for 10 whys. And the most important thing to do is be completely honest with yourself. No one else needs to know that you're feeling jealous. No one else needs to understand this emotion apart from you. It really, really is the best self-reflection tool, and really a good way for you to understand what you truly want. So please don't feel embarrassed. Please try this technique. Write it out, type it out, whatever it is, and just really be honest with yourself. If you're honest with yourself, then you can take the appropriate action, and then you can actually reach that goal. So I really find this tool really powerful in growing myself, really powerful in going after what I want, and really powerful in planning for my new goal. It's totally normal to feel jealous about something. We've all felt jealous about things in our lives, and we probably will continue to feel jealous about things as we progress in our lives. The most important thing to do is to understand the emotion, break it down, and then reframe your mindset to be like, I'm really excited about this new challenge. I really wanted this, so I'm really excited to see how I'm actually going to achieve it. And then when you do achieve it, you will be so, so happy. It's totally normal also to sometimes feel angry towards a person, but I've always found that when you break down this activity, when you really understand the emotion, you never feel angry at that person. You just realize that, okay, this is something that I want. And then you start to feel happy for them. That's what I've learned to do now. Whenever I feel jealous about something, I'm like, do you know what? Good for that person. I'm really happy for them. And you know what? You've motivated me. You've inspired me to do the same actions myself. So I put together a plan. I create a list of things to do, and then I make sure that I achieve that goal. And this has happened so many times with my podcast. If I think about it from the beginning to where I am now, I think I felt jealous that some people are doing video podcasts. I felt jealous that some people have a beautiful studio. So what have I done? I've worked really hard to make sure that I hit that goal, and I've used it as a source of inspiration rather than as like a hatred, negative thing. I actually feel so excited when I feel jealous about something because it means that I want it. Now, I do want to close this podcast by saying one thing. There will be something within you that someone else will feel jealous about. There will be something within you that someone will say, wow, I love her eyes, I love her character, I love her humor, I love her grit, I love her resilience. Whatever it is, there is something within you that someone else is looking at and admiring. And I think that it's so, so, so important to understand your strengths, so important to reflect on what you're good at. And this is why I have those 3 questions in the performance planner every single day that I answer. What did I do well or enjoy? What am I proud of, and what could be better tomorrow? These 3 questions, I go on about them all the time. You absolutely don't need to buy a planner to answer those every single day. Just write them down and reflect every single day. And what that will really help you to do is understand your strengths. So the next time you feel jealous, you'll feel more empowered because you'll be like, okay, I'm really good at this. Now I really want to work on this, and this is how I'm going to do it because I have these traits within me that are going to help me reach that goal. Not everyone can have every single best trait in the world. And once you start understanding what your best traits are, once you start understanding how you're unique, how you're inspiring, how your strengths can actually impact other people, and you'll really start to feel content within yourself. I really hope this video has normalized that jealousy is a completely universal feeling that so many of us will feel, and we should use it as an exciting, inspirational feeling that will allow us to take action towards our goals. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd be so grateful if you could give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you would like to share how you felt jealous and you've overcome it too. I really hope you all have a good day or a good evening wherever you're watching, and I will see you next week in my next video.